Okay, this is going to be part 2 of the 12.2, and I'm going to use this app on my screen called TAculator. It's right here. Um, this is going to be the best thing that I can show you that's very similar to your calculator. If you want, you can download it. You get a free trial. I don't pay for the subscription. There's an X up in the right-hand corner. You can just X out. Again, this is as good as I can get because I can't get a good video of my calculator of me using it, so we'll just use this. So what I want to do is use that data set from example 2 in the 12.2 notes. It was suppose your 6 exam scores in a course are as follows, and we found the mean, median, and mode and mid-range for those. But I want to show you how to use your calculator to do it, because in the next section you need to know how to do this kind of thing in your calculator because we have some really large data sets. You could also use the same method that for the example 1 when we talked about the student stress levels. Um, but I'm just going to use the example 2 because you have smaller amount of numbers. So we're going to use the stat button that is on your calculator. And I believe on your calculator, it's right below the delete button, just like you can see here. It says stat. Mine says stats, but yours says stat. So it's going to be this button right below the delete button, second row, third one over, if you will. So we're going to press the stat. And you will see I have my calculator. I'm working through them both just to make sure things are similar. You see the same menu show up on yours that you see here. And we're going to hit option 1 for edit. So you can either hit 1 or enter. And then you'll see something very similar to this in your calculator. We're going to use L1 and L2 for, or in this case, we're just going to be using our L1 actually, because we only have one data set. If you were doing something like example 1, where we had the stress rating and the frequencies, you'd put the stress rating in L1, the frequencies in L2. But since we're looking at example 2 with just the test scores, we're going to use L1. So we're going to type 52 and then hit enter. And then 69, enter. 75, enter. 86, enter. 86 again, enter. And then 92, enter. And then you can see all your datas. Again, if you were doing something like example 1, meaning that, let's jump over to photos here, we were using a data set like we see here in example 1. You would use, oops, let me see if I can write on this. If we go to markup here. Okay, if we do this, this would be your L1 column, this would be your L2 column. So in that case, you would use both of these, but we just used these in L1. Okay, let's go back to the calculator here. All right, so now what we're gonna do is close out of this. So second exit or second quit, however you wanna do that on your calculator, second quit. Now what we're going to do is on the calculator, we are going to hit the button that says, we're gonna do second stat now, and right above it, it says list. So on my calculator, it says shift, yours says second. So shift or second, and then stat button, which gives us list. And we'll see this menu here. And on your calculator, you get that same menu there. We're going to go over to the math column. Now, in the next section, we're going to be looking at standard deviation, option 7, which you see mine says pro, meaning I can't actually do it here, but this is where you would find it. But we're going to look at, we can use the mean and the median. So I'm going to start with the mean and say option 3. Now, it tells me, this calculator tells me I need to type something here, meaning list. This is where I want to use the L1. So you can see L1 is above number 1 on your keypad. So you can choose the second button and then L1. And then you can just hit enter. And that'll tell you the mean. And then we can find the median. Again, second, stat, over to math. And now I can choose option 4. And again, I want that L1. And then I hit enter, which is 80.5, which we also found. If we had two lists in L1 and L2, for an example such as example 1 here, the only really difference you'd have to do is when you type your mean in, so second stats, and you go over to math and select mean, you would have to do L1 and then the comma, which is above the 7, and then L2. Now, I don't have a list in for L2, so it wouldn't give it to me, but that's how you would do it. So go ahead, please play around with that. If you can't get it, email me, or you can always Google TI-84 finding the mean or something of those nature, and you'll be able to find videos on it. Hope this was helpful to get you going with the calculator. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Bye.